Part 2 is starting. Let's continue to story. Upon hearing Shaurya's words, Shagan was left staring at his face when Shaurya said, "There should be something at this party that humiliates both Shania and Ahan, and the mistake should be Ahan's." To this, Shagan, glancing around the party, replied, "But how will that happen?" Just then, Shaurya's gaze fell on Shania, who had moved away from Ahan and stood alone in a corner. When Shagan's husband, Gaurav, saw Shania alone, he approached her. Gaurav had always liked Shania, but he ended up marrying Shagan. Despite that, he never missed an opportunity to try his luck with Shania, though she never gave him any attention. Meanwhile, Shagan looked at Ahan and said to Shaurya, "Seeing this poor wretch in such an expensive suit today doesn't sit right with me. Shania has been giving him too much attention lately." Shaurya smirked and replied, "He's getting too ahead of himself. Watch what I do next." Holding his glass of alcohol, Shaurya walked toward Ahan and loudly said, "Hey Ahan, where did you steal this suit from? Oh, looks like this useless husband is now living off his wife's money. Otherwise, someone like you could never even afford to look at such an expensive suit." People around them burst into laughter. Shagan then approached with her own glass and said, "Brother-in-law, don't take Shaurya's words seriously. So what if you're a house husband? Every son-in-law lives off his in-laws. And if you're living off your wife's expenses, what's wrong with that?" Shaurya laughed loudly and asked, "All right, sorry. But Shagan, do you really think Shania loves him?" Shagan smiled and replied, "Why? Don't you think so?" Shaurya pointed and said, "Look, she left her husband alone and is now in the corner with someone else." Shagan and Ahan turned to see Shania talking to Gaurav. Shagan thought for a moment and said, "Yes, that's true. Shania shouldn't have left Ahan alone here." She then turned to Ahan and said, "Forget all this, brother-in-law. Let's enjoy ourselves." As she spoke, Shagan offered her glass to Ahan. Ahan refused, saying, "No, Shagan, I don't drink." Shaurya forced his glass to Ahan's lips and said, "Oh come on, Ahan, don't embarrass us at such a big party. It's a matter of our respect." He forcibly poured the drink into Ahan's mouth. Despite his protests, Ahan ended up drinking the entire glass. As soon as Shaurya pulled his glass away, Shagan pressed her glass to Ahan's lips and said, "Oh, so you'll discriminate against my glass? Finish this one too." Ahan kept refusing, but their persistence overpowered him. Soon, he was heavily intoxicated, and Shaurya and Shagan watched him with amusement. By then, Yamini and Shaurya's father, Neeraj, had arrived at the party, along with Dada Anand Gill, who was mingling with the guests. Shaurya then loudly announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, meet our family's son-in-law, Mr. Ahan. He has many qualities. What family is he from? What does he do? And why did he marry into our family? Let him tell us himself." "Right, brother-in-law." Ahan, intoxicated, staggered toward Shaurya and said, "Oh, so that's why you and Shagan forced me to drink. If you really want to know, then listen." A crowd had gathered, eagerly watching the spectacle. Ahan looked at Shaurya and said, "Brother-in-law, first, let me tell you about yourself. You're a greedy, selfish man. You want to take control of Gill Construction, which is why you're trying to remove Shania from your path. You want to break our relationship." Shaurya interrupted, "Ahan, what nonsense are you spouting?" Ahan put a finger to his lips and said, "Shish, I'm not done yet, Shaurya. To take over this business, you and your father, Neeraj, keep scheming. You flatter Dada and turn him against Shania." Dada Anand Gill stepped forward and asked, "Ahan, what is all this?" Ahan looked at him and said, "Oh, Dada, what can I say about you? You pretend to support Shania, but deep down, you favor Shorya. Every decision you make is in his favor and against her." Shogun stepped in and said, "Ahan, these are our grandparents." Ahan retorted, "And yes, Shogun, I know you and Shorya are now united against Shania. After all, you're Shorya's cousin. No matter how much you two may oppose each other, when it comes to Shania, you stand together. That's why you both humiliated me by forcing me to drink. But I stand with Shania. As long as I'm here, no one can harm her." His eyes welled up as he added, "Truth be told, Shania is the most talented among all of you. She cares for everyone and is the most concerned about the family business, yet she faces discrimination." By then, Shania had arrived. Though Ahan was drunk, everything he said was true, and hearing it brought tears to her eyes. Shorya grabbed Ahan's arm and said, "You've humiliated us enough. It's best if you leave now." He shoved Ahan, who stumbled and fell at Shania's feet. Laughing, Shorya said, "You were always beneath Shania's shoes, and you still are." Ahan looked up and saw Shania standing before him. She bent down and helped him up. Though Ahan was still mumbling drunkenly, Shania steadied him. Suddenly, her expression hardened as she glared at Shorya and Shogun. "Today, you two have crossed all limits of shamelessness. I've seen how low you can stoop to bring someone down. But listen carefully, before you say anything about Ahan, remember he is my husband. No matter how hard you try, that truth won't change. From now on, if anyone even thinks of wronging him, it won't end well for them." Shania's words left Shogun and Shorya stunned. They never expected Shania to stand by Ahan. Yumini was equally shocked. She approached Shorya and asked, "What's all this drama, Shorya?" Shorya replied, "Ahan is a stain on our family, auntie, and Shania wants to live with that stain." Yumini sighed and said, "But what can we do now? Shania's father forced him upon us." Shorya smiled and said, "We can do something if you're willing. We can end their marriage." Yumini asked in surprise, "But how?" Shorya whispered something in her ear, making her smile. She said, "All right, but my daughter must not be harmed in any way." Shorya assured her, "Don't worry." Meanwhile, Shania managed to take Ahan out of the party and into her car. As they drove home, she realized that Shorya and Shogun had instigated everything. Yet, she felt good knowing that Ahan had spoken the truth. Everything he said was what she had felt for years. At home, Shania laid Ahan on his bed. Even in his drunken state, he held onto her, pulling her close. As she rested on his chest, he wrapped his arms around her, unwilling to let go. In his drunken slur, Ahan murmured, "Shania, I love you so much. I'm sorry for what happened today, but it wasn't my fault. They want to separate us, but I won't let that happen. I'll stay with you no matter what. I'll never leave you alone." Hearing this, Shania smiled. She covered him with a blanket and went to her room. All night, she kept thinking about Ahan, unable to sleep. By the time she dozed off, it was already morning. Ahan woke up early, remembering everything from the party. He was nervous about facing Shania. Hearing noises from the kitchen, Shania woke up to find Ahan standing there with 2 cups of coffee. "Good morning. Sorry about last night. I'm ashamed of what happened. Because of me, you faced trouble again." Shania stared at him, sighed, and walked toward the bathroom. Ahan called after her, "Sorry about last night. At least take the coffee." Shania replied, "I'll freshen up first and have it later." Ahan returned to the kitchen. When Shania came back to fetch something, she saw Ahan struggling to knead dough. He scratched his nose and said, "My nose itches." Shania glared at him, so he wiped his nose himself, smearing flour all over his face. As Shania fetched water, she noticed his flour-covered face and burst out laughing, though she tried to hide it. She hurried into the bathroom and laughed freely. Ahan heard her and smiled. Just then, his phone rang. It was Vikram. Ahan answered, "Why are you calling me now?" Vikram's voice replied, "Have you made your decision, young master? Or do we have to take action?" Ahan stayed silent for a moment before saying, "I've told you before, leave me alone. Don't call me again. I don't want anyone to know I'm a wealthy heir. This must remain a secret." He hung up and went back to preparing breakfast for Shania. Later, Shania returned to her wardrobe to pick clothes. When she opened it, she froze in shock. Furious, she stormed into the kitchen and glared at Ahan. What has Ahan done now? What is the secret behind Ahan being a wealthy heir? What is Shaurya's plan? Stay tuned to find out more in this story. Shania was staring at Ahan, and when he noticed her intense gaze, he stammered, "What's wrong, Shania?" In response, Shania placed a piece of paper in front of him, one she had found in the cupboard. It had, "Sorry," written on it, something Ahan had left there. He glanced at it and said, "Yeah, about what happened yesterday." Shania replied coldly, "It's fine. I have to go to the office, so stop bringing it up again and again." Ahan nodded silently. After leaving the kitchen, he quickly got ready because he had to go to the bank. They had breakfast together and then headed downstairs. Just then, Ahan handed Shania her sunglasses and said, "You probably forgot these upstairs. You should wear them, or your headache might start again." Shania took them without any expression and got into her car. Meanwhile, Ahan started his bike, and both set off toward their destinations. Suddenly, Shania honked from behind. When Ahan turned, he saw her parking the car back in its spot. She walked up to him and said, "How about I ride with you on the bike? It'll be easier in traffic." Ahan quickly wiped the seat clean and smiled to himself. As Shania sat behind him and placed her hands on his shoulders, an unfamiliar warmth rushed through him. Shania seemed to feel it too. It was the first time they had been this close, fully aware of each other's presence. Ahan was wearing a jacket, while Shania had on a white top over her jeans, looking effortlessly beautiful. Then, Shania teased, "Are we going or waiting for someone else?" With a grin, Ahan revved the engine. Soon, they reached Gill Construction's office. Just as Shania stepped off the bike, her phone rang. Seeing it was her mother, Yamini, she answered immediately. "Shania, Beta, your father has been in an accident. Come to the hospital right now." Shania's face paled. Ahan, noticing her distress, asked, "What happened?" Hanging up, Shania said urgently, "We need to go to City Hospital, now. Papa was returning from out of town when the accident happened." The news shook Ahan too. Mr. Shikar was the only person who had always believed in him, and Ahan loved him deeply. They rushed to the hospital. Mr. Shikar had been moved to the ICU and Yamini sat outside, crying. She looked at Shania and sobbed, "Beta, your father, he's in the ICU." Shania comforted her, "Calm down, Mom. Everything will be fine. I'll find out more." Meanwhile, Ahan spoke to the doctor. "How is he, doctor? What's his condition?" The doctor replied, "He was critical when brought in, but he's stable now. We're keeping him under observation. There's hope for improvement. but we can't rule out complications. Asterisk. The entire day passed in tension. By evening, Shania was exhausted. Ahan couldn't bear to see her like this. He approached her and said, "Take mom home, Shania. I'll stay here with uncle. I'll keep you updated." Asterisk. Shania protested, "How can I leave papa like this? His condition." Ahan cut in, "Shania, I care about him just as much as you do. He's like a father to me. Please, take care of yourself and mom. I'll handle everything here." Asterisk. After much persuasion, Shania agreed and left with Yamini. Ahan stayed back, but soon, the doctor returned with alarming news. "Mr. Shekar's condition is worsening. We need to operate immediately." Asterisk. Ahan panicked. "But you said he was stable. What changed?" Asterisk. The doctor replied, "We can't say for sure, but without surgery, his life is at risk." Asterisk. Ahan insisted, "Then what are you waiting for? Start the operation." Asterisk. The doctor said, "We need you to sign some forms and pay 15 lakhs at the counter first." Asterisk. 15 lakhs. Ahan tensed up. He was about to call Shania when he saw Vikram standing nearby, smirking. Ahan's eyes narrowed. "What are you doing here?" Asterisk. Vikram chuckled. "Shania can arrange the money easily, but do you really think this was just an accident?" Asterisk. Ahan froze. "What are you saying?" Asterisk. Vikram leaned in. "This accident was arranged on your father's orders." Asterisk. Ahan's blood ran cold. "You're lying." Asterisk. Vikram shrugged. "Aditya Rezada can shake India's market with a snap. This was just a small warning." Asterisk. Ahan clenched his fists. "You'll pay for this." Asterisk. Vikram smirked. "The price is 15 lakhs, peanuts for Rezada Group. All you have to do is join us." Asterisk. Ahan growled, "You'll pay the bill, and I'll deal with you later. But I'll never work for you." Asterisk. Vikram's grin widened. "Even if I don't pay, Shania will. But imagine if she finds out her father's accident happened because you refused us. That your connection to the Rezada family caused this. Will she ever forgive you?" Asterisk. Ahan's breath hitched. Vikram pressed further. "And if you still refuse, well, you know your father. This won't stop here. Shania could be next." Asterisk. Ahan's resolve crumbled. "Fine, I'll do what you want. But this stays between us. No one finds out the truth." Asterisk. Vikram's smirk turned triumphant. Just then, Shania returned with food for her father. Ahan quickly updated her, and after the formalities, the surgery began. Later, the doctor confirmed Mr. Shekar was stable. Relieved, Shania handed Ahan a tiffin. "I made this for Papa, but since he can't eat it yet, you should have it." Asterisk. Ahan opened it. Asterisk. Bindi okra sabzi asterisk, his favorite. But Mr. Shekar hated okra, and Shania knew that. Meaning, she had made it for him. Ahan smiled to himself. Just then, his phone rang. It was Shagan asterisk, crying hysterically. "Ahan, please save me. Some men at Dev Malhotra's club are trying to." The call cut off with a scream and laughter in the background. Ahan rushed to Shania. "I have to go. I'll be back soon." Asterisk. Before she could respond, he was gone. When Ahan reached the club, it was empty. Before he could react, someone pressed a chloroform-soaked cloth to his face. As darkness took over, the last thing he saw was Shagan and Shaurya smirking down at him. What's next? What's Shaurya and Shagan's plan? Will Ahan escape their trap? Ahan couldn't process the sudden attack. He struggled against the cloth pressed over his nose, trying to break free, but his body grew weaker until he finally collapsed unconscious on the ground. It was clear, someone had knocked him out using chloroform on the handkerchief. The moment he passed out, two figures stood before him, Shaurya and Shogun *, both wearing triumphant smirks. Shogun turned to Shaurya and said, "Tell Malhotra to get started." After that, everything went black. The next morning, when Ahan woke up, he found himself in his own room, his head still spinning. The memories of last night hit him like a truck. How did I get here? What happened to me? He muttered, sitting up abruptly. Shanaya's dad is in the hospital, and if she finds out I was unconscious, she'll be devastated. But first, I need to figure out what the hell happened. Grabbing his phone, he immediately dialed Shogun. As soon as she picked up, Ahan snapped, "What kind of game are you playing, Shogun? Where were you? When I reached Malhotra's club, you weren't there, and then someone knocked me out. Now I wake up in my own house, tell me the truth. What's going on?" Shogun scoffed. "Are you high on some cheap drugs? I never called you here. I'm not even in the city right now. Stop spouting nonsense. I don't have time for your delusions." Before Ahan could respond, she hung up. Stunned, he stared at his phone, until a message from Shanaya ** popped up. "Dad's condition is stable now. He'll be discharged soon. I'm at Gill Construction for some urgent work." Ahan let out a relieved sigh, but then Vikram called. "You can start your work now," Vikram said. "We've booked you a house at Rosewood Springs. Check it out, but be careful with the owner, Kartik Kohli. He's cunning and knows how to manipulate people." Ahan had heard about Rosewood Springs *, a luxury estate where even a single flat cost *50 crores or more. He remembered how much Shanaya loved that place. Making up his mind, he stepped outside, only to find his bike parked exactly where he'd left it before going to Malhotra's club. "Something's not right. I need to talk to Malhotra about last night. But first, Rosewood Springs. # Rosewood Springs, a shocking welcome. As Ahan pulled up on his bike, two guards blocked his way, sneering. "Who the hell are you? You think you can just walk in here?" Ahan kept his cool. "I'm here to check out a property." The guards burst out laughing, eyeing his old bike and casual clothes. "Yeah, right, you can't even afford to look at this place, let alone buy it. Get lost." Ahan's jaw tightened. Judging people by their clothes is low. Is this how you treat guests? The argument escalated, until the guards started vandalizing his bike. Ahan grabbed one by the wrist, ready to strike, when a smooth voice interrupted. "Sir, please forgive them. I apologize on their behalf." Ahan turned to see Kartik Kohli *, the owner of Rosewood Springs, standing there. Kartik glared at the guards. "Do you even know who you're talking to?" Ahan cut in. "They don't need to know who I am. But they should know how to treat people, rich or poor." Flustered, Kartik nodded. "Of course. Actually, I knew you were coming, I just forgot to inform them. Lunch is ready, please join me. *****. A deal is struck. Over an extravagant meal, Ahan brought up expansion plans. Rosewood Springs could be legendary if it expands into the hillside. Big investors would flock here. Kartik's eyes gleamed. He'd been waiting for this. "You're absolutely right, Mr. Rezada. But I'd need massive funding." Ahan took a sip of water. "I'm willing to invest." Kartik nearly choked on his wine. That would be incredible." The deal was sealed. As Ahan prepared to leave, Kartik insisted on replacing his damaged bike. Moments later, a sports car rolled up. "Please, take it, consider it an apology." Asterisk. The guard's jaws dropped as Ahan drove off in the luxury vehicle. Shagan's shock, and a sinister plot. Outside, Gaurav, Kartik's manager, and Shagan watched in disbelief. Shagan sneered. "Oh, so now he's renting fancy cars to impress Shania." Asterisk. Gaurav frowned. "Nobody rents Kartik Kohli's cars. Something's up." Asterisk. The trap springs shut. Ahan picked up Shania from work in the sports car. "Why rent something so expensive?" she asked, concerned. "A friend lent it to me," he said casually. But then, a message from Shaurya. Ahan's hands trembled as he opened it. Photos. Him. A woman. Naked. Intimate. Another text followed. "Shania will see these soon. We're waiting at your house. Divorce papers are ready, she'll sign easily. Come home. Today, we're cutting you out of this family for good." Ahan's blood ran cold. Shania noticed his panic. "What's wrong?" "And nothing," he stammered. But she could tell. Something was very wrong. When they arrived home, Yamini, Shaurya, and Shagan were waiting, furious. Yamini screamed, "Don't you dare step inside. You were always a stain on this family, but now, you're a disgrace." Ahan's voice shook. "This is fake. I don't know where these photos came from." Shaurya shoved the phone into Shania's hands. Who wouldn't believe their own eyes? Tears welled in Shania's eyes as she scrolled through the images. Shagan smirked. "You married for money, but you couldn't control your lust, huh? What relationship are you even talking about? It's already over." Yamini thrust a pen into Shania's hand. "Sign the divorce papers. I won't let you stay with this man another second." Shania's fingers trembled as she stepped toward the table. Ahan's heart pounded. Would she sign? Or would the truth come out? To be continued.